to this Culinary Summit portion of the Innovation Summit. I look forward to sharing all these ideas with you. We will be putting out all of the item guides as well as a detailed photo of each item. However, if you have more detailed questions, you can always reach out to your area manager, district manager, and we will be able to get more detailed information for you. So the first one I want to focus on is a falafel hero. So this gives you a lot of Mediterranean flavors. The falafel mix comes in a 4-pound tub. It's as simple as and fry. So this could be an appetizer. You could turn this into a topping for a chicken sandwich. We added it to some grilled pita with some pre-made tzatziki, our Roma feta cheese. The Roma feta cheese comes in 1 8-pound tub, 2 8-pound tubs, or a 17-pound tub. So plenty of options, plenty of variety to be able to add a feta cheese to your menu. The tzatziki, if you were looking for other options to use it for, so you weren't bringing it in for just one item, it's great on a chicken sandwich. It's great on as a salad dressing on a salad. So it has a good wide range of opportunities. And then we've taken and paired it with our Roma seeded Kalamata olives. Got a lot of flavor, great brine to them. It comes 4 6-pound tubs, and they would go great in any Mediterranean salad, on top of a sandwich, anything of the likes.
And Tony, these are the Kronos 7-inch pita breads, right? And
they are.
Are they already pre-grilled?
They're not pre-grilled, so it's as simple as if you don't have a char grill, you can put them on the flat top, you can throw them in the oven. They also deep fry really well if you wanted to add an appetizer of pita chips as well as the tzatziki, and then we also have a pre-made hummus, both in a original variety as well as a roasted red pepper.
And I think we have a whole wheat option. Those you could do a little more whole grain version of that. What's the cook time on the falafel? And
so the falafel is about a 3.5-minute cook time. So very quick, very easy to get out. They also have a decent hold time, so if you needed to get ahead of them. But a very versatile product and a good way to add a vegan item to your menu.
And I think you mentioned those have our julienne red onions and the pre-diced tomatoes, right?
Correct. So in our pre-cut produce line, we have a wide variety of options for you in pre-cut. We have a julienne green pepper, a julienne red onion. We have a peeled red onion, a peeled white onion, a diced white. And a lot of these are in our peak produce program, highest quality. And they're also usually a smaller pack. So for instance, peppers and onions that are julienne are on case. So if storage space is an issue, labor is an issue, you can bring them in very small quantities.
And I would imagine that would travel pretty well too, right? I think the pita probably protects it from moisture and as it carries.
It travels great, especially if you pull the tzatziki to the side. Being that the falafel's fried, it does not have a lot of moisture, so it would travel perfectly.
Very neat, very neat. What else we got, Tony?
So our second dish today, we're featuring our pre-seared, pre-cooked seared ahi tuna. So this is an Asian sesame crusted tuna. It is a 4-ounce portion, pre-sliced.
Vacuum packed?
Vacuum packed in one individual portion. So this makes it easy, especially if you're just trying to add some seafood to your menu, whether you do this over our stocked seaweed salad, whether you add it to an Asian style salad, to give an upgraded entree opportunity or a different protein on the salad. This makes it very simple and easy. It is a perfectly seared rare, nice sesame seeds. Today we paired it as almost a make your own taco plate. So I fried up some wontons. We've got an Asian slaw, chow mein noodles, and then some water chestnuts. Water chestnuts are fantastic with this because the tuna is so soft, the water chestnuts just give it a nice crunch. The dressing we used on the slaw today is our Village Garden sesame ginger vinaigrette. This would go great in the slaw, as well as give you the versatility, as most operators already have some form of lettuce along that line. This also translates perfectly into a nice Asian tuna salad.
Yeah, I think it'd make a great nacho plate too. You've got it set up for tacos with these wontons, but you could cut them diagonally and cut them up like little chips and easily do that. What sauce might you pair with the tuna for dipping or for topping?
So with the tuna, we're stocking 2 items under the Kogi brand. One is a sweet soy, one is a serrano chili. mixed equal parts are a perfect dip for this tuna, especially if you were going to just pair it with a seaweed salad and you just wanted a quick, simple appetizer. The other advantage of that appetizer is it could come off your cold station or your salad station. So whereas a lot of times most of the appetizers are hot, this may take a little bit of pressure off that fry or grill station.
Yeah, and you could do, we said the nachos, you said the tacos, you could do, I mean, all kinds of, you could do with a flour tortilla as well, right? If you want to add it as something a little more fusion kind of with that as well. Any other sides or toppings you would recommend with that, or is it, it's pretty self-explanatory?
Yeah, no, I think keeping it nice and clean, getting the great flavor, fresh flavor of the tuna is key with this item. We have a good amount of inventory on it and it stays very consistent, whereas tuna is one of those where I personally turn your back and it goes from rare to overcooked in seconds. So this is a quick, simple way. You know your exact portion cost. It's 100% usable, and we'll definitely add some flavor to you, man.
And I'm a sushi connoisseur. I can tell you this tuna is fantastic for what it is right out of the packet. Don't be scared of that product. It'll hold up against anyone in town serving a seared tuna.
So our next dish is going to be our Mexican lasagna. This is a very simple dish, travels well and also great for catering. You could make this in a pan, send it out, and adds a different flavor profile. So instead of using our traditional Roma frozen lasagna noodles, I used our Contigo 6-inch tortillas. If you only had 12-inch in stock in your operation, that would work as well.
What would you do with the application on that, Tony, as far as using a tortilla shell versus a lasagna sheet?
So the basic assembly is just as simple as a lasagna. So the difference is the base is our Contigo fire roasted salsa, comes 6 number 10 cans, has a great flavor profile, the right amount of heat, a good sweetness from the tomato, and has a great fresh taste. So then we take and you layer tortillas, queso blend, a little bit of queso, and then some shredded mozzarella, and then you just keep going up with it. This is very simply paired with a nice salad, topped with avocados, some pico, and then an avocado ranch dressing. But you could also use a pineapple vinaigrette or anything along that line. These could be made in full pans and cut to size to put on a plate. These could be made in 7-inch or 9-inch takeout foil containers if you wanted more of an individual style. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. Also in this, I used our Contigo taco meat. This comes 4 or 5 pounders ready to use. So if you're not already making taco meat, this makes it very simple. To kind of bump up that flavor, I added in some of our Contigo ground chorizo. This chorizo comes packed 2 5-pound bulk. Very simply thawed out, brown it off, and gives you, a lot of good flavor in there.
So the only cooking is really the baking it off after you've assembled it, right?
Other than browning off the chorizo.
Okay.
Then all you have to do is put it in a container and bake it 350 for about 45 minutes to an hour.
Could you make this ahead of time and prep, or how far in advance could you let this sit in the pan before you bake it?
Absolutely. So what you want to do with this is if you're trying to bake it for lunch that day, it definitely needs to set up for a couple of hours, just like a traditional lasagna. So all of that can kind of recongeal. Okay. If you wanted to make it ahead, you could simply take it, cool it down in the walk-in or reach-in overnight, cut it into portions, and then reheat it to order. Okay.
How long did you bake this for?
I baked it for about 45 minutes at 350 convection in a full pan.
How do you have how many layers you would recommend stacking this up, or how high is too high?
So I stack it 4 high. You don't want it to go over the pan you're baking it in. Otherwise, it will definitely give you a great opportunity to buy some of our First Mark oven cleaner because it will definitely boil over that container.
Anyone that's done that in the kitchen knows exactly how fun it is to clean an oven out, but it's all the easier, like you said, with our First Mark oven grill cleaner. What's next?
So our last dish, I took our West Creek barbecue pork. This barbecue pork is great and very versatile in that it's just smoked pork. There's no barbecue sauce on it, just a light amount of vinegar. So today I went Asian with it, paired it with a little teriyaki sauce, some cotija cheese, a little bit of shredded cabbage, and then watered chestnuts. So the cabbage I'm using is the diced, also comes in shred. Both are available in our Peak brand, and both are packed 4 5-pounders. So it makes it very simple and easy. if you kept this barbecue hot in the sauce on your lines, throw a couple tortillas on the grill or the flat top, warm them up, add the pork, and you would have this dish out in less than 3 minutes.
Is that what, 2 ounces of pork meat or a little more?
So this is a 6-inch tortilla. I did between 2 and 2.5 ounces of meat. If you went down to a 5-inch tortilla, you could go to 1 3/4 to 2 ounces. And then we paired it with just some accoutrements of diced tomato, the julienne red onion that we talked about earlier, and then a fried avocado half.
Nice. And what sauce did you say you had in there?
So this is a teriyaki sauce, but you could use that same Asian sauce we talked about a few minutes ago. You could use a mango habanero. And that's what I like about this product is if you wanted to offer it in multiple ways, it will take on any flavor that you add to it, from barbecue to buffalo to Asian to Hispanic. So it gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility to take that flavor profile where it works for your operation.
And the water chestnuts just add a little extra crunch and bite and texture to that, correct?
They do,
Yeah.
and I like the way we stock these water chestnuts. We're stocking them in 12 basically retail cans.
Okay.
So you're not committing to a full number 10 can. If you wanted to add that crunch, you wanted to add into a salad, you're not committing to a huge amount of volume until you know exactly how many of the items you're going to sell.
A little bit of water chestnut goes a long way. So no, these look great. Again, they go right into the global flavor theme of this, where you're taking multiple products. And I would say that this is the West Creek pulled pork with the vinegar base. The vinegar base doesn't have that sauce profile already to it. Just you can add whatever flavor you want. But also remember, you can visit the Hot Deals booth, and we have pork butts on sale today. So check them out. So next, that's some of our global flavors. We're going to keep with that theme. Chef Tony's got prepared some bowls, as I mentioned before. We're really excited about these. They travel well, as mentioned, as a given. They provide a profitable option for your menu. They limit the labor involved in this, and you're going to see they just look beautiful with lots of color. And I think that's going to be what you continue to consumers demand is color and presentation, a variety of ingredients, fresh as possible. And even, more so than that, it gives a healthy aesthetic to the meal itself. And you walk away feeling a little bit better about yourself after you eat this meal. We're going to go through each of these just like we did before. We've got these 4 plates, and then we'll move on to our next section. So Chef Tony, what are we going to start with?
All right, so the first one we're going to start with our wild mushroom rice steak bowl.
How wild are these mushrooms?
So this is the Simplot wild mushroom and grain blend. It features a wide variety of grains, which is a lot of things that consumers are looking for. This comes frozen 6 2-pound bags. And you're going to see a wide range of the Simplot upsides grain blends. These I use all the time. I show them at every culinary summit we have because you can heat and get it out. So it's fully cooked. It does need to be reheated, but it makes it very simple to add that fresh element and not have to cook 6, 7, 8 different kinds of grains, as each one of them takes a different amount of time. So today I paired it with the Two Rivers diced beef for taco. This is while it does say taco in the description, it just has a very light marinade. It is not it's not a Hispanic style marinade. It does not have that taco flavor. This works great for a wide variety. You're also going to see it in our fried rice bowl. Another option we have there is we have some coming in. Obviously, we had some disruptions, but is the Performance Custom Meats Chislet. This is an 8-ounce package that makes it even simpler because you just drop the meat into the fryer. Extremely tender, has a light marinade to it with not a lot of flavor, so it gives you the same opportunity. This with some gorgonzola, and then the Roastworks roasted peppers and onions. So these peppers and onions, they come 6 2-pound bags as well. Great for nachos, great as an addition to the salad, and gives you a very wide range of culinary opportunities.
Very nice. Now on these mushroom rice and grain bowls, what kind of portion on grain should you use for an average plate like that? It seems pretty heavy, but
so on a plate like that, I do 5 to 6 ounces. Consumers are looking for more of those grains, and the difference between so let's say a mashed potato or a French fry, these grains have a lot of protein to them. So they're going to fill you up a little bit more.
And carry you through the whole day. Right?
It does. So it's going to release energy differently, and definitely gives you a lot of flavor with not a lot of labor.
Okay. And you mentioned what we have coming in with the 8-ounce portions, but this particular one today, what kind of cut is that Two Rivers product currently? Is it a one piece of muscle or?
So no, it's a 5-pound package.
Okay.
Pre-diced. So you can portion it out how you want. This works great in a steak wrap. This works great on a salad. So a very versatile product all the way through your operation.
Yeah. Easy for samples on anything we're showing today. Doing 5 or 6 ounces of the brains, how much meat are you putting on that plate?
I would do about 4 ounces of meat.
Okay, so if you're doing that 8-ounce portion, cut it in half. There's your plate portion.
Absolutely.
Right? Very cool. We're looking at Mediterranean grilled chicken.
We are. So Mediterranean flavors continue to boom. They have fantastic flavor. They're light, especially in these hot summer months. Everybody is experiencing the heat, and this gives you an opportunity to add a fresh flavor. I chose to use chicken tenders today. You could use chicken breast. You could use chicken thigh. I set this up almost as a share platter, just so you could see a difference between an individual portion and this. You could pair this with some grilled pita if you wanted to. So what I have that chicken sitting on today is the Simplot kale and quinoa rice. So quinoa continues to grow in popularity in the market. And this gives you a great opportunity without having to go through the effort of cooking the quinoa.
And there's so much green in that and the brown and the texture. I mean, it looks like you're going to have a better day tomorrow if you eat that today.
It does. So we paired it with the feta again. It has our pea and cone Mediterranean vinaigrette.
Okay.
That vinaigrette has a bunch of feta and olives. So if you wanted to not do the kale and you wanted to turn this into a Mediterranean salad, once again, this is extremely versatile. You could do a Mediterranean style nacho, use the same chicken, the feta, add some of our Baccio whole milk mozzarella, and you would have a great Mediterranean nacho.
Nice, nice. And you mentioned you used the 2-ounce clipped West Creek chicken tenders on there. You mentioned breast would work too. Also at the Hot Deals booth number 88, there is a huge deal on random chicken breast. Check that out. Easy to do on that dish. What about the cheese and the rest of the peppers?
So the cheese is our Roma feta. Once again, it comes in either a breaker 8-pound tub, 2 8-pound tub master case, or a 17-pound pickle bucket. So a lot of variety of ways to buy that. Also comes in a loaf, or if you don't want to crumble it yourself, it comes as a crumble.
That's a 5-pound pack, right? The crumble leaf. So a little less commitment there. Yeah. Okay. And then the peppers?
So the peppers are the Roastworks peppers and onions again. So, extremely versatile product. We do have a local representative who Danny and I met with yesterday. She is available to assist you.
Yeah, Kelly Rogers is our local Simplot rep. So the quinoa blends, the peppers and onions, the grains, all these products that are ready to go, ready to use. If you're looking for samples, talk to your area manager. We can line something up with Simplot to get you some delicious products out to try, to play with, and enhance your menu.
So the third dish in the bowl arena is the fried rice. This fried rice comes 4 2-pounders. So it's ready to heat and eat. So you're looking to add that Asian flair. You're not looking to, make a fried rice, steam rice, anything along that line. I like this blend because it's got edamame and corn and peas and carrots. And then I like to accentuate it with our stir-fry frozen vegetable blend, which has snow peas and water chestnuts and has a lot of those flavor profiles that you want to add to it, but you don't want to buy 6 20-pound cases of individual vegetables. This will come to you. I believe it's 12 2-pounders ready to go.
And what vegetables were in that again, Tony?
So it's a water chestnut, it's carrots, peppers, onions, edamame, corn, peas. So it has a wide variety and it's ready to heat and eat.
Very good.
So I paired this with our Asian Pride teriyaki sauce just to give it a little bit of flavor. Once again, you can either use that Two Rivers diced beef, or you can use, when it comes back in, the Performance Custom Meats chislet, and then topped off with a fried wonton for garnish.
It's garnish. It's also a nice little fun crunch. How do our wontons come packed? We've used that in a couple of dishes. They're just little frozen doughs, right?
They are. So it comes 12 1-pound packs. So just as simple as frying a tortilla chip. Drop it in the fryer, about 25 seconds, get it crispy, and then finish it with some salt just so it can gain a little bit of flavor.
Yeah, and you can top any salad with them. You could crumple them up, you could strip them out, you could fry them, you could do so much with it. So if you're not using wonton strips or taking a look at it, it's a great way to add a little flavor, a little crunch, and a little different of an experience in a crouton. So, and we have some scallops up next, right, Tony?
We do. So our next dish, I'm featuring our West Creek creamy grits. This is a new product line for us, packed by a very good packer down in New Orleans. So along with this line, this would also be great with our red beans. So we have a red beans with andouille under the line. They all come 4 pounds. There's a gumbo that actually starts from a roux. There's a jambalaya, and then there's a bread pudding option, as well as a crab and corn chowder. So I paired the grits today with the Roastworks roasted corn and peppers. This is another one that comes to you ready to go. So if you're looking to do a fish taco, anything along that line, don't have the labor to grill corn, this works great. This product also comes with black beans, or as I'm showing it, without. So you have 2 varieties of opportunities for this. You're going to see it a little bit later. I also use this product to make a great roasted cream corn, which adds a large amount of flavor to a traditional cream corn. The scallops today, I'm using our Empire's Treasure Fresh U10 scallops. These are also available in a 10/20, or they are available in pieces. So the pieces are great if you're doing any kind of stew or soup, or you're looking to fry them. The value of them is a fantastic price point, and it's a byproduct of production of broken scallops. So it gives you a great opportunity to offer fresher, not frozen scallop to the market. If you are looking for a frozen product, my suggestion would be our Baywind frozen at sea scallop. This one is frozen very quickly at sea. It's also not treated. You know, a lot of times I get questions from operators, why are my scallops shrinking? Why can't I get a sear on it? And that strictly comes from them adding a chemical to the product to make it larger. And what happens is once you reheat that product, the cells expand and allow that moisture to come back out. So if you're not getting that amazing sear that you're looking for, that's what's happening. They're shrinking too much. That's what's happening.
And if you are using a quality product, exactly how long and how hot would you cook that to get that good sear on there?
So I grilled these. Simply, if you're going to grill them, season them up, put them on a hot char grill for probably 3 minutes aside. If you're going to sear them, you want to get your pan scorching hot. So what I do, I get my pan scorching hot. I season the scallop with salt and pepper, add it to the pan, let it brown up. 2 minutes later, I turn it. I let it cook for about a minute, turn the heat off, and throw in about 2 tablespoons of whole butter, just so you get that flavor. If you have the time and the labor, it works out great if you can baste it, which is putting the butter back over the top of the scallop. It'll help it cook through. It'll add some flavor to it. It'll keep it moist. But scallops are one of those things where it's very hard to find a good product locally in retail. So scallops are a great way to bring that diner to your operation that's looking for a seafood dish that they can't recreate at home.
And that's the arugula you have topping this off, right?
It is.
Yep.
So it's a little bit of baby arugula just for some color, but also as it drags through the grits, it'll add that nice pepperiness, that nice freshness, and it just gives it a good look.
Very nice. And now going back to the grits, I'm really fascinated with that. So these are they're in a bag, they come frozen, you boil the bag, you're done with grits, right?
That's
no
correct.
Scorching the bottom of a pan. You know, you're not committing to too much, 2 little grits for the day. Could you reuse those grits later on if you didn't use the whole 3rd pan?
You could. So it comes 4 pounders. So if you're factoring 4 ounces per portion, you're only talking 16 portions per bag. These are also great to add to. I did them the other day with our Nature's Best goat cheese. You could do them with a new item we just brought in, the Wicked Pimento cheese. You can do a lot of things with these. You could do gorgonzola. So it's nice that this is just a blank base that you can pump up how you feel in your operation.
And those other bases in that line, let's review those one more time again. That was the red beans and andouille?
So there's a red beans and andouille. There's a crab and corn chowder. There's a jambalaya. There's a gumbo. And then there is a bread pudding as well as a whiskey sauce.
So even the gumbo would make a good base, right? If you want to do like a little bit of a gumbo in the bottom, almost like a sauce, and then you could put in your scallops and put on your shrimp or something like that. I mean, there's all those bases that are ready to go as sides on their own, as a base for a meal entree and even as an appetizer in many ways. So
absolutely, the gumbo under this would be perfect. The gumbo works great if you add some steamed rice, and then you can take and add some of those scallop pieces. You can add some of our Baywin's all natural shrimp. You could add in fresh catch salmon or any of the other seafood products that are available to you from Performance Foodservice.
And you're instantly getting a real authentic New Orleans experience. And these products are actually made in New Orleans, right?
They are made in New Orleans. The gumbo actually starts with a real roux. So they have great flavor, very simple to do. You can boil it in the bag. If you happen to have a steamer, you can throw them in the steamer. If you want to thaw them and heat them to order, you can thaw them all the way out, heat the soups to order. So a very versatile product line that's new to us here at Performance Foodservice Atlanta.
And as you mentioned, each 4-pound bag is got a limited amount of portions in it, so you're not committing too much per shift. So if you're looking for an LTO idea, talk to your sales rep or your district manager about these West Creek Cajun line. Very nice. All right, well, that concludes our bowls. And thank you very much, Tony. They all look fantastic. And as we get set up for the next round, we're going to look at some booming seafood items. We've got Jeff Mager, our Business Development Center of the Plate and Seafood Specialist here. He's got all kinds of market information. If you haven't met with Jeff and you're serving fish, you need to meet with Jeff, all right? The man knows where to find all the fishing spots around the world. So seafood is booming, as I mentioned before. There's the markets, are not they're not immune to what everything else is doing, but most of these products are widely available and at great value. And ones we picked today to show you all bring additional value within their own category. We've added some sauce, some moisture to each one of these to help the price being a little more forgiving, whether on the line and you're working your skeleton crew in the kitchen, or whether you're looking to make these travel a little bit more or doing more carry out with them. Reheating these later on with this little extra added moisture will be a much better experience for your customers. So Jeff, I'm going to kick it over to you before Tony gets into the food. Any particular markets or seafood updates we should be worried about, concerned about, watching? What's going on in your world?
Well, let's take a look at, but let me say thank you everybody for having me. And my name is Jeff Mager, and I am in business development with Performance Foodservice here. My expertise is across the board of the COP with an emphasis in seafood. So as you have requirements or information that's needed, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to support everybody. So Tony has put together a medley of dishes here that we're going to talk about. And there's a lot of different nuances that are occurring right now in the seafood industry. What's going on with the COVID. And restaurant closures, openings, like fresh salmon might be up one week, it might be down another week. Same thing with imports coming out of Asia on our shrimp products. Depends on the scenario of each location throughout the country, because if a importer is backed up on inventory, prices are going to go down. But what we try and do is we try and create that stability in pricing for you guys. A lot of these commodities are frozen. So we have the opportunity to buy and hold and continue with that continuity in your pricing models so that we're not continuously moving you up and down. And so the key here is seafood is booming. So why is seafood booming for you guys? Okay. And quite honestly, most people really don't know how to cook seafood at the house. Okay. My wife, she's challenged to go out and even pick out the right seafood. So when you go to your local market, I mean, how do you know if that piece of salmon is a good piece? Okay. Of course, we all look at it with our eyes and, we think it looks good, but is it really good? And then when you get it home, how long do you cook it? Do you cook it with the skin side down, the skin side up, cook it for 3 minutes, 4 minutes? Okay. So quite honestly, people will just not do it. And that's where the opportunity comes with the operator to put seafood, a good mix of seafood proteins on your menu, offer a competitive price, a good quality product, and you'll generate interest and bring profits to the table. And that's what you're looking for.
And Jeff, wouldn't it be true to say that in the retail stores, that your grocery stores, your markets, seafood's not a cheap item to buy to come cook at home, right? So typically if you're going to spend the money, you'd rather a professional come out and cook it.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, you go out and look at the price of scallops, and if you want to try and experiment and sear some scallops, and like Tony said, you got to get your pan like 500 plus degrees. Okay, what are you going to do that? You're going to do that on your kitchen stove and then have grease splatter over the wall. So, I mean, absolutely. So you don't want to ruin it. You want to make sure you're spending your money wisely, and you want to get a good experience when you go out and see. So what we have here is, so Tony has put together this list. We got the Italian seafood stew, we got the blackened mahi, we've got the jerk shrimp, we got the spiced bourbon honey glazed salmon, and then we got the baked oysters. So let's take a look at the first dish, the Italian seafood stew. Tony has put together right here, which is a fabulous item. And when you put together these dishes, this creates value. I mean, look how much product is in there. And you've got the scallop, I mean, not scallops in that one. You've got the clams, you got the mussels. Did you put scallops in there? Pieces. The scallop pieces. Okay, the scallop pieces. And then his featured stew that he's mixed together to make this dish. Very appetizing. Looks to be a very large portion. So
it's heavy.
As the seafood dishes seem to be just a little bit more expensive, it creates that value for you.
So Tony, talk through each one of these products and where we are. And Jeff, if you've got some market insights as we roll through them, let us know.
All right, so in this, I used our Roma hard shell clams as well as our Empire Treasure mussels. These both come 12 1-pounders. They are fully cooked, ready to heat and eat. So this gives you an opportunity to do a linguine with clam sauce, mussels marinara. Your price point is great on both of these items. Your consistency is great. And if you don't have that labor that can manage fresh clams and mussels, this is an absolutely great way to add seafood to your menu. As Jeff said, this is paired with the scallop pieces, as well as I used our Baywinds 1350 shrimp, which I grilled. But if you wanted to do a 3135 or you wanted more shrimp, you could do a 7190. It lends itself to a lot of different presentations.
So,
so the base is our pea and cone Il Formoso tomato. This is a great tomato, as well as some Empire Treasure clam juice. So this gives it a nice seafood base. To give it a little bit of texture, I did some Kalamata olives and some cannellini beans. And then the bread garnishment today, this is one of my favorite breads that we have at Performance Food Service Atlanta. This is in our Heritage Ovens Artisan line. This product is great because you can do it as a loaf. You can do it as a half loaf, or if you're looking for table bread where a server does not have to actually put a knife in their hand, you can rip one off and do a very easy bread basket. Finish that with a little bit of olive oil, and you've got a quick, easy stew.
And the bread would be great in this sauce, I would imagine. So, Tony, let me ask you real quick on the clams and the mussels. They're packed with 10 1-pound packs, right? Vacuum sealed, ready to go. How do you prepare those easily?
So in this dish, I got my tomato sauce, which I had ready to go hot, added them, and they'll open in about 2 minutes. Basically, once after they thaw, they're open. It is a product you want to keep frozen because both of these products are packed with their original liquor in the pouch. So you get a lot of good flavor from that. So you don't really want to thaw them ahead of time. If you just wanted to do a sauteed clams, olive oil, a little butter, garlic, some onion, salt, pepper, add your clams, cover them with another pan, and just let them steam out.
What, a minute, 2 minutes?
About 2.5 minutes, depending on how hot your stove gets. From boil, once your liquid starts to get boiling, that 1-pound pack is going to take 2.5 minutes or so.
That 1-pound pack you could throw in a steamer. You could put it in a pot of water if you need to heat it up quickly, right? The saute pan.
You could. Definitely your best way is to just saute them with a lot of aromatics, a lot of good flavor. If you want to make them spicy, you could add some of our sliced cherry peppers. That's the way I like them, just to give them a kick. You could add red chili flakes, sambal chili. So because they are a pretty much blank flavor profile, you have a large opportunity to add any flavor that you would like to them.
So can I add something, please? The takeaway on this, which is absolutely fantastic for the operator, is the clams and the mussels, no shrink. Okay, you try and run the fresh product, as Tony said, in the back end of the house, you're going to have a mortality rate, and that creates shrink, which is lost, and you lose money. With this product, like Tony said, you cook it from the frozen state, you flash it, off to the races. The clams are the same way. The shrimp, 2-pound bags, IQF, individually quick frozen, already peeled in the vein. So if you wanted to use a larger shrimp, a smaller shrimp, if you want to put a shell on shrimp, with our Baywinds shrimp, we have all the sizes that you need to make this meal a wonderful meal.
All right, so our next dish I want to feature today is our bourbon and honey glazed salmon. This has a little kick in that I use the Sweet Baby Ray's chicken bourbon sauce. That has a little kick. And then I finished it with Mike's Hot Honey, which is a new product we just brought in recently.
And it is glistening.
I put it on some mashed cauliflower just to lighten the dish up a little bit going into summer and not doing a mashed potato or something along that line. You could also do this over the fried rice, any of the grain blends that we've seen today. I used our fresh catch, fresh 3 to 4 pound salmon fillets. We also have that in a 2 to 3. And if you didn't want to portion it yourself, we have it frozen in multiple varieties from Baywind's Faroe Island down to an Empire Treasure. So a lot of wide varieties of options in this dish. Very simple to prepare. Grill it or saute it or flat top it. Salt and pepper, add the bourbon glaze, finish it in the oven. And then the honey I just drizzled on afterwards. I wouldn't recommend cooking the honey because you cook a lot of the flavors, the nutrients, things along that out of it. So it's just a drizzle at the end. The cauliflower is simply cauliflower steamed or boiled, drained very well so you get a lot of the moisture out of it. A little bit of heavy cream, butter. If you wanted it to be a little thicker consistency, you could add in goat cheese, cream cheese, any of those items to give it a little bit more body.
And really, this almost becomes a gluten-free dish if you exclude the sauce, right? Because the fish, you don't have the starch, you're using the cauliflower. So it becomes immediately a healthy option for you. That's great. Jeff, what's going on with the salmon market?
So let me touch on that salmon right now because our producer, Common Chalk, I was on the phone with him earlier today. And just so that you know, the salmon comes in 10-pound boxes. It's trim D, which means the belly is trimmed back. Pin bones are removed, skin on fillets. And like Tony said, you can get 2 to 3 or 3 to 4. And these are pound fillets. And as far as the supply line, we get 2 shipments a week direct out of Chile. And what we've seen recently in the past 3 to 4 weeks, you've probably noticed a little uptick in the prices. Well, as more restaurants came online with COVID and relaxing the rules and opening up, demand got stronger than supply, and of course, prices ticked up. Now that we're experiencing an issue in Florida and some other areas around the country, we might see a little bit of softening. But for right now, we're looking at pretty stable prices for the next week, week and a half, and we might see a slight tick down, but it's anybody's game at this time because it all depends on what's going on with the restaurant openings and closings and where you are. But I can assure you that the flow of the raw material with our shipments, we have not seen any interruptions. So availability is good and pricing models are fair and the quality of the raw material is outstanding. 2 shipments a week, so we're not carrying old inventory over.
Right. So it should be within days fresh out of the water, right? Every time we get it.
Absolutely.
Very good. How's it packed? It's in the styrofoam coolers, correct?
It's in a styrofoam cooler. It's a 10-pound. And they look like little coffins. And
Skin on, skinless.
you get your skin on fillets. We inventory the 2 to 3 and the 3 to 4 skin on, pin bone out, which is when you'll see it in the description, it's TBO. And then it says trim D, which means so. And when you're looking at pricing models, so you may be buying a C trim and not know it, and we're offering a D trim, and it's a little bit more pricey. So what that is on the belly. What they do is they just take that little fin and cut a little C. Boom. And you get all the belly flap. With the D trim, they come up above the fin and they pull the belly back. Of course, you've got a higher expense in the cost of the fillet, but you don't have to deal with that and throw it in the garbage when you get it. So
nice.
Yep.
Very good. Thank you, Jeff. Hey, before we move on, Tony, what about the Mike's Hot Honey? We've been showing that a lot. I know it was on the salmon. Is it too hot to handle? Like what's?
No, it's just got a nice sweet heat to it. It's great on pizza, great on fried chicken. Gives you an opportunity to add a different flavor profile to anything that you're doing. Would be great to finish a hot wing with. So gives a wide variety of great opportunities.
And only 4 24-ounce bottles in a case. It makes it easy to inventory. Very nice. So what's up next, guys?
All right. So our next dish, I wanted to do a baked oyster. This is very simple in that I'm using our 144 count frozen half shell oyster.
Tony, why do they call it a 144 count oyster?
there you go. I'll answer that.
Okay.
Okay. There's 12 of these trays. What's in the tray? 1 dozen oysters. Okay. 12 times 12, 144. Now, be careful when you're buying this product because a lot of the packers They will not shrink wrap the trays like this. They will just drop the product in a case, okay? Now, what these are single cup, clean oysters on the half shell. So basically, all you have to do is take this product, put it in the cooler, let it slack out, and then you can serve it. Okay, it doesn't need to be washed or anything, but that's the reason behind the 144 count. You have 12 dozen oysters.
Nice. Now, why is that such a product over a fresh oyster maybe right now in the summertime this time of year?
So the challenges are, and you know, old lore, folklore, you know, you don't want to eat oysters unless there's an R in the month, okay? Well, the months that don't have R's are in the summer, okay? So the oysters are stressed during the summer. The meat is very small percentages. That's why you see the select meat go up, because it takes them a lot more shelf stock to shuck to even get a 5-gallon tub of meat. So you got a stressed oyster, you got heat, you know, the whole time temperature continuum. If you've got a break in that and you get some spikes in heat, then it's going to cause mortality rate in the oysters. Okay, we can't avoid that. That's going to happen. And even though when the product comes out of the water and it's just pristine, during that chain, that cold chain, that chain of custody, from when it comes out of the water till it gets to you, if there's any spikes in temperature, then of course you're going to suffer some mortality. With the frozen product, you don't have to worry about that. And the good thing about this is they're not packing this up right now when the oysters are stressed. This product's been packed up at the peak season in the late fall, because what these packers do is they prepare for this time of the year. They pack this up in advance. It's frozen immediately. As you can see, I mean, I don't know if you can see this, guys, but these oysters are nice and plump. They're plump and full, and they're a great product to use during this time. Now, as far as availability of the fresh, we still have product coming in. I was talking to our supplier this morning, and demand is not outpacing supply, even though they're having, you know, a limited catch. The demand is not there, so we still have that continuity in the inventory coming in.
Excellent, Jeff. Thanks for the education. And Tony, real quick, what about these oysters did you do to make them look so pretty?
So what I topped them with, I topped it with our West Creek spinach artichoke dip. This comes packed 4 or 5 pounders, and then some Roma Parmesan cheese. And then for a little kick, I topped them with some crushed Calabrian chilies.
Okay.
So these chilies have a great flavor to them. I love them on pizza. I love them on, I love them with any form of seafood. It is a newer item that we just brought in. So it's something to explore with your area manager about adding a different flavor profile to your menu.
Beautiful. And how long do you have to bake these off just to melt the cheese?
Correct. So you can put them in the broiler, you can put them in the oven. When I bake oysters, I still don't like my oyster baked all the way through. So I still like it to kind of have a little bit of that raw texture, but not completely raw.
What's up next?
So our next dish is going to be our blackened mahi. This is the dish that I was talking to you about a little earlier, which I took cream, reduced it down, and added in the Simplot Roastworks roasted corn. So it gives you a great flavor, great color profile. And then what I use today is our mahi buffet cuts. These are 2 to 4 ounces. It is a byproduct of production, so it's got a great product value and a great versatility. Whether you wanted to put this on a salad or in a fish taco, or in this dish, you know, put 2 or 3 pieces on an entree. This gives you a lot of flexibility in a lot of dishes.
Very nice. Jeff, why is this buffet cut so important and so much value in the mahi season
So
market?
think on the production side, okay? And if you've got like a concept that has 500 units that wants to do an exact 6-ounce portion or an 8-ounce portion, to do that, depending on the size of the fillet, you have to yield off portions that you can't use because they want every piece to look alike, okay? So as the processor, you're like, okay, well, what can we create to drive demand and actually sell this product? Just like the pieces from the scallop, we try and utilize every bit of the fish that comes out of the plant. So these buffet cuts are basically the drops when they're doing those prime cuts. And depending on the size of the fish, you might get different looks. Like they're all going to be kind of like this narrow, elongated piece because they're normally coming back from the back end of the fillet towards the tail, because you want the center part to cut all the portions and make everything equal. So it's a great item. There's nothing wrong with it. The quality is great, but you know, as you're charging a premium cut for the 6, 8, and 10-ounce portions, you have this goes into the cost, and then you drop it out there and you reduce the price and you create demand for a product that once was going in the garbage can.
Real quick, Jeff, the mahi market's in good shape.
So mahi is a cyclical fishery, and it's normally the cheapest prices come, in the fall and early in the new year. And what we do, since it's a frozen commodity item, again, it's produced at the peak of production. So the relationships we have with the producers and the suppliers that we deal with, we have projections on what the demand is going to be. So we actually have it secured. So we can maintain continuity in pricing and offer the product on a continuous basis.
Beautiful. And what's last here, Tony, in the
All right, so our last dish, one of my favorite dishes is a good jerk grilled shrimp. So I use the Baywinds 1315 shrimp again, just because I like that size, especially in an appetizer portion along like this. Simply marinated them in McCormick jerk seasoning, grilled them off very hot. You could also blacken these in a cast iron if you wanted more char. And then the sauce is Nature's Best dairy butter with a little bit of the Sweet Baby Ray's jerk sauce, just to give it a great flavor. Once again, I've taken and paired this with our Heritage Ovens Artisan ciabatta bread. Just did a half a loaf in this instance. These shrimp are Baywinds all natural shrimp. We're fortunate enough to have a representative in the market that represents our Baywinds shrimp, as well as the mahi pieces I spoke about, snapper trout, and then he also represents the fresh catch salmon as well as the Empire Treasure frozen salmon portions. So it's nice to have a resource in the market. Get with your area manager. They can schedule some time to get him out there and show you how seafood can redefine your menu as well as increase productivity in your operation.
Yeah, if you get a chance to visit the Baywind booth, you can talk live to Chris Sheridan. He's on during the vendor portions. And Jeff and your sales rep can also line up with a cutting from Pacific Coral. You got to try that shrimp. This looks fantastic, Tony. I love the caramel on it. While we get set up for the last stretch of this, Jeff, is there anything on the shrimp market we should be aware of, or how's that looking for us?
Okay, right early on in the year when we started figuring out what was going on with this COVID thing, the importers got a little gun shy. So you got to understand, when you place a container order overseas, then you're looking at about 70 days before that raw material gets here. So there was a delay because the importers stopped buying. And then all of a sudden, inventories here in the U.S. were running out cheap. People were taking advantage of it. And then inventories got tight and prices started to pick up. So what we're experiencing now is that delay from the flow of raw material. So the actual people that seed these ponds, because it's aquaculture, and they grow out, it takes about 120 days to grow out, then we'll resume that flow towards the end of the year. So right now we've been experiencing a little bit firm prices, but when we get the flow of the raw material coming back into the country, we're seeing things ease up, and that may not happen till the end of the year.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Jeff, so much, sir. There we go. One of those. All right. Hey, thanks so much. Again, that's Jeff Meager, folks, our seafood specialist, and the plate specialist, business development team here at Performance Foodservice Atlanta. Like a lot of the things you're seeing today and tomorrow, just another resource here for you, Performance Foodservice. Please utilize these resources like Jeff. His expertise, his knowledge, his ability to find, source, and price right the products that'll fit your budget, your needs, and your menu is second to none. So lastly, we're going to roll into something I'm really excited about as we embrace more and more here at Performance Foodservice. That is a vegan and vegetarian mindset of some menu ideas, some products. And Tony's taken one of our newer products. This is a vegan product I mentioned before. It's an Italian sausage style vegan crumble. It's soy-based. It's cholesterol-free. It's got so many things that go well with it. It's non-GMO. And again, maybe it was primarily thought of as a pizza topping for a lot of those that brought it into stock and those that are already selling it now. But Tony's going to show you that it's got a huge versatility to it, that you could really come up with anything. It's natural colored, it's natural flavored. There's zero saturated fats. And if you haven't already, if you're looking for more vegan items, talk to your sales reps, talk to your district managers. We're just in the process of rolling out an entire database basically of vegan options, vegan products that are here in stock, are readily available to order in. And again, it's part of the menu trend that's, I don't think, going away anytime soon. People are looking for, healthy options, meatless options. And again, everyone's seeing these products all over menus nationwide. So Tony, without further ado, tell us about this new product and what you've done with it.
All right. So as Danny said, this segment in the business is growing more and more, as well as the product availability and the taste is growing rapidly. So while I chose one item to focus on today, I do have a sales training with area managers next Friday that will focus more in depth on other items. So after that, your area manager will be well versed in what we have, what's available, and how to utilize these products. So this crumble, first thing I thought of when I saw it is a flatbread. So I'm using our Heritage Oven 00 flatbread. This is a 12x6 flatbread. I did some of our Baccio whole milk mozzarella on it. I did the crumbles, and then I did some of those roast work peppers and onions, and then finished with a drizzle of our pea and cone balsamic glaze. So this balsamic glaze is nice because it does start with balsamic vinegar. It's reduced down. It's got a good sweetness, but it also has the perfect amount of acidity.
And what'd you have to do these crusts to get them so crisp, Tony?
So I threw it on the grill just to give it a nice char, and then put it in the oven just to crisp it up a little bit.
And then melt the cheese in the oven.
So while you have that flatbread, a lot of operators currently have flatbreads on. This crumble would be an easy way to add a vegan type item. If you're looking to go fully vegan, we have our Roma vegan mozzarella or Parmesan shreds. Mm-hmm. We also have a vegan mozzarella.
Yep.
So those options are out there for you. When you're using it, you do need to play with your oven a little bit because they don't have that animal protein in them. They do melt a little bit differently. So you need to adjust your timing slightly versus using a real cheese.
Yeah, call us for samples. We're happy to help you execute this on your menu.
So the next dish, going back to the hero, using those crumbles in that. This would be a vegetarian version, as I've used the tzatziki and I've used feta cheese, but you can easily sub all that out and go 100% vegan with it, or turn this into a salad without the pita. So a lot of opportunities, but once again, it's quick, simple, easy. One dish that I had on my menu is I want to talk about lasagna or a meat sauce. So any of the operators out there that are doing a meat sauce, instead of ground beef, this lends itself perfectly to all the dishes you're already doing. Whether you're doing a bolognese, or you're doing a meat sauce, or you're doing something in a lasagna, this is an easy one-to-one substitute to ground beef. And what I find when you add it into something, the texture is right, the flavor is right, and you can almost not tell that it is a plant-based vegan protein.
Wow. And as you go into the next time too, Tony, this is the actual case it comes in. It's 2 5-pound pack, very small case for storage space in your freezer, and also not a huge commitment on your part to start executing these menu items.
And for any of you out there that may be doing school bid, I'm just reading the top of this box, and it is certified for the Child Nutritional Meal Pattern. So for anybody who might be looking for a CN product for schools, I know I had an operator in the other day that was going and starting to do the food service operations at a school. So for those looking for that CN labeled item, this will hit your mark. So the last item I have for today, I chose to do a sloppy Joe.
A vegan sloppy Joe.
So this version has our Baccio. So if you were going to go the vegan route, you would want to use one of those vegan mozz options. Also, this bun is from Rotella, and it is vegan and gluten-free. Comes individually packaged, so you can easily keep it separate. And then I paired this with our Roma gourmet onion ring. This is a panko crusted onion ring and has a good crunch and a good look.
Yeah, the onion ring is not vegan for disclaimer's sake. And what I do love about this this bun being individually wrapped is it kind of helps save the freshness, right? It keeps the air out of it.
It does, and it keeps cross-contamination.
Yep.
So before I close it out and hand it back to Danny, I want to add we introduced Jeff Mager, but I also want to introduce the entire business development team to you, starting with Christina McFadden. She is an expert in all things disposables, beverage, and chemical. We also have Brian Corsini, who has just recently joined us. And Brian Corsini is an Italian/center of the plate. We talked about Jeff Mager, who is primarily in seafood, but is also going to have an emphasis and some training on other proteins. We have William Moses, who is our Hispanic business development manager, and he has a team of 2 folks that support him, and Fabio and Maribel. And then we also will shortly have a branch manager coming on to assist in your operations. So we have a broad business development team. They are here for your support. So reach out through your area manager, and we will get something scheduled to support your business. I'm going to turn it over to Danny now. As I said earlier, I certainly appreciate your time in joining us in the Culinary Summit portion of the Innovation Summit today. I am always available for any culinary questions, product questions. Reach out through your area manager, and I'm happy to help in any way.
Very good. Thank you so much, Chef Tony. I'm just going to close it out real briefly. I'm conscious of everyone's time, but if you've gotten nothing else from this outside of the wonderful ideas, the wonderful products that Tony's demonstrated and shown, the expertise from Jeff Mager, it's that Performance Food Service in this year, 2020 to 2021, Performance Food Service is investing in you by investing in our people. We've got sales reps and district managers that are experts at what they do, and we're continuing their education every single week here. We're investing in a full business development team. We're expanding our team, and all that is in support of you and your operations so that you can have a trusted partner in the food service industry. And just know that if nothing else, Performance Food Service has your back and has an expert to help tackle any of your obstacles, questions, or concerns in this industry as we come through and we recover together. Thank you so much, and good luck, everyone. And without further ado, and just good luck with the rest of the show, and we will be in touch shortly.